Module 1.1, what is an entrepreneur? Welcome to the wild world of entrepreneurship. So you're thinking about starting your own business, huh? Maybe you've got a killer idea, or maybe you just like the idea of being your own boss, because who doesn't love the idea of working in pajamas? Either way, before we dive into the nitty-gritty of building your empire, we've got to get something clear. What the heck is an entrepreneur anyway? Don't worry, it's not as complicated as you might think. And, spoiler alert, it's definitely not just a fancy word for someone who drinks overpriced lattes while typing away on their laptop at a trendy cafe. Although, hey, that could be part of it. Let's break it down, and we'll even sprinkle in some laughs along the way because, trust me, you're going to need your sense of humor on this journey. Defining entrepreneur. No pressure, right? An entrepreneur is someone who starts a business. Boom. Done. Easy. But wait, there's more. Entrepreneurs are more than just people who run a business. They're like business superheroes, minus the capes, unless you're into that. They take risks, build something from scratch, and try to turn a vision into reality. Sounds cool, right? Different definitions from the big shots. Just to make things super official, let's look at what a few smart people say about it. Harvard Business School defines an entrepreneur as someone who chases opportunities without worrying about what they currently have. So basically, entrepreneurs are the ones who jump out of the plane and figure out how to build a parachute on the way down. The Economist magazine breaks it down into two camps. Some entrepreneurs run their own businesses. Think small business owners. While others are innovators. Think of someone who invents the next app you can't live without. Both are cool, both are right. The U.S. Small Business Administration, SBA, says entrepreneurs are the brave souls who manage a business and take on the risks for profit. Yes, that means dealing with the fun stuff like loans, taxes, and paperwork. Don't worry, you'll love it, eventually. Now you might be thinking, this sounds intimidating. Hold your horses. There's more to it than staring down at financial spreadsheets, although there will be some of that, sorry. What entrepreneurs aren't. Now let's clear up a common confusion. Freelancers are not entrepreneurs. Gasp! Sure, freelancers are awesome. They work for themselves, take on clients, and maybe even work from that trendy cafe we mentioned earlier. But they're not building a business. They're usually just selling their services one gig at a time. Entrepreneurs, on the other hand, are building something bigger, something that can, hopefully, run without them one day. It's the difference between being a solo rock star and building an entire band. You, my friend, are here to build the band. Entrepreneurs are like artists, but with more stress. Imagine an entrepreneur like an artist, but instead of using paint, you're working with ideas, people, and maybe a bit of caffeine-induced adrenaline. You take something that didn't exist before, a product, a service, a weird niche, seriously, someone made a fortune selling pet rocks, and you turn it into a real, functioning business. And that, my friend, is pretty freaking awesome. You'll also hear people talk about entrepreneurship like it's some kind of exclusive club. But trust me, the barriers to entry are low. You don't need a PhD, a killer IQ, or a genius label to get started. In fact, most successful entrepreneurs are regular folks who just took the leap. It's about learning, adapting, and surviving. And yeah, a little bit of hustle helps. A quick myth-busting session. Let's shoot down some common myths that might be lingering in your mind. 1. You're born an entrepreneur. Nope. This isn't like being born with a full head of hair. Or not, sorry babies. Entrepreneurs aren't a special breed that comes out of the womb selling lemonade at a markup. Plenty of people become entrepreneurs later in life. Some in their 30s, 40s, even 50s, after working normal jobs for decades. The secret sauce isn't in your DNA. It's in your willingness to try, fail, and try again. 2. You have to be a genius. Spoiler, you don't. Intelligence is overrated. Some of the most successful entrepreneurs weren't exactly winning spelling bees. What matters more than being smart is having perseverance and a decent work ethic. Do you need to be a brainiac? Nope. You just need to be gritty. Cue the Rocky theme music. 3. You need a ton of money to start. Wrong again. A lot of famous businesses started with little to no money. Sam Walton, the guy who founded Walmart, was practically broke when he got started. Entrepreneurs are often scrappy and resourceful, figuring out how to make something out of nothing. So if your pockets are feeling a little light, don't panic. You're in good company. 4. Luck is the most important factor. Sure, a little luck never hurt anyone, but most entrepreneurs make their own luck. How? By sticking with it long enough for something to work. It's like throwing spaghetti at the wall. Eventually, some of it sticks. So, are you an entrepreneur? Maybe you're reading this thinking, okay, that's cool, but am I cut out for this? Here's the thing. Anyone can be an entrepreneur. You don't have to be the loudest, most extroverted person in the room. Although if you are, go for it. Entrepreneurs come in all shapes, sizes, and personality types. Introverted? Cool. There are plenty of quiet, behind-the-scenes entrepreneurs who crush it. Outgoing? Great. You might naturally thrive in networking environments. There's no one perfect type. The takeaway. At its core, being an entrepreneur means taking an idea, adding a dash of risk, and blending it with action. Whether you're starting a cozy local bakery or trying to create the next tech unicorn, the entrepreneurial spirit is about doing. So, if you're ready to roll up your sleeves and give it a shot, congratulations, you're already halfway there. The only thing left is to dive in and start building. Next up, we're going to bust more myths about entrepreneurship. And trust me, there are plenty. There you go. Module 1.1 is all about breaking down the term entrepreneur in a fun and engaging way, perfect for beginners. Hey there. Hope you're loving this course. I know it's a lot of info to digest all at once. That's why we offer the accompanying 102-page ebook and downloadable audio files so you can refer back to them whenever you need. You can get them at freecoursesforall.com. That's freecourses, the number 4, all.com. One more time, that's freecourses, the number 4, all.com. Now, back to the course. Module 1.2, the importance of risk tolerance. All right, so you've got your business idea, or maybe it's still brewing in the back of your mind. Either way, it's time to talk about one of the most important, and let's be honest, most nerve-wracking parts of being an entrepreneur: risk. Now, I know what you're thinking. Risk? You mean like jumping out of a plane without a parachute? Well, not exactly, although some days it might feel like that. Being an entrepreneur means embracing uncertainty, which, let's face it, can be both exhilarating and terrifying. But don't worry, by the end of this module, you'll be ready to face it head-on like the brave business warrior you are. What is risk tolerance anyway? Risk tolerance is basically your ability to handle uncertainty without breaking into a cold sweat. It's how comfortable you are with things going wrong, because, spoiler alert, things will go wrong. Every entrepreneur, from the neighborhood bakery owner to the founder of Facebook, has had to take on some level of risk to get where they are. Think of it this way. Starting a business is like betting on yourself. You're putting time, money, and energy into something that might fail. But it also might succeed beyond your wildest dreams. And that's why you're here, right? The entrepreneur's relationship with risk. Entrepreneurs don't shy away from risk. They embrace it. Risk takers are the ones who look at a challenge and say, yeah, I can handle that. Let's see what happens. And guess what? Sometimes they fail. Sometimes they crash and burn. But other times, they build empires. And that's the key difference between entrepreneurs and the rest of the world. Entrepreneurs are okay with failure. They know it's just part of the process. Failure isn't the end. It's just a pit stop on the road to success. Cue the inspirational music. Let's bust a few risk myths. Before we dive deeper, let's clear up a few misconceptions about risk and entrepreneurship. 1. Myth number 1. Entrepreneurs are reckless daredevils. People think entrepreneurs are like Indiana Jones, swinging from ropes, dodging boulders, and taking wild risks with no plan in place. Not true. Entrepreneurs are calculated risk takers. They look at the situation, weigh the pros and cons, and then decide if it's worth the gamble. They're not just throwing all their money on red at a roulette table. Although, hey, whatever works for you. 2. Myth number 2, you need to be fearless. Newsflash. Most entrepreneurs are just as scared as everyone else. The difference? They don't let fear stop them. Sure, they might get nervous before launching that big new product or signing a massive contract, but they push through. Fear is natural. It's how you manage it that counts. 3. Myth number 3. Entrepreneurs are lucky. Some people think successful entrepreneurs just got lucky, but luck has very little to do with it. Successful entrepreneurs aren't playing the lottery. They're creating opportunities. Luck might play a small role, but it's perseverance and smart decision-making that carry the day. How much risk can you handle? Now it's time for some self-reflection. No need for mood lighting, just think about it for a minute. Ask yourself, how comfortable am I with uncertainty? Here's a quick mental checklist to help gauge your risk tolerance. Do you get nervous if things don't go according to plan? Entrepreneurs often have to throw the plan out the window and improvise. Flexibility is key, and if you're someone who needs everything to go exactly as expected, this might be a challenge. Are you willing to invest time and money in something that might fail? Starting a business requires resources, and there's no guarantee you'll get them back. Risk-tolerant entrepreneurs understand that it takes time and maybe some money before seeing success. How do you handle setbacks? If a setback is you spiraling into despair, you may want to work on that. Risk-tolerant entrepreneurs know that failures are just stepping stones to success. If you can pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going, you're on the right track. Why risk is awesome. Let's get real for a second. Taking risks is what leads to the really big rewards. Think about some of the most successful companies in the world. Apple, Amazon, Tesla. These companies wouldn't exist if their founders hadn't been willing to take some massive risks. Sure, it's scary, but it's also thrilling. When you're willing to take risks, you open yourself up to possibilities you never would have had otherwise. Maybe your business idea doesn't pan out exactly how you thought, but along the way, you discover a new opportunity that's even better. That's the magic of risk-taking. Managing risk like a pro. So how do you manage risk without losing your mind? Here are a few tips. 1. Do your homework. Risk doesn't mean diving in blind. The more research you do, the better you can predict potential outcomes. Before you take the plunge, study the market, talk to potential customers, and have a solid plan in place. 2. Start small, dream big. You don't have to bet the farm on your first business idea. Start with small, manageable risks and build from there. As you gain confidence and experience, you can take bigger leaps. 3. Diversify your risks. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. If one part of your business isn't working, make sure you have other income streams or projects to fall back on. 4. Keep your eyes on the long game. Success doesn't happen overnight. Entrepreneurs who succeed are the ones who stick it out, even when the going gets tough. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Risk tolerance is one of the key ingredients of entrepreneurial success. It's what separates the dreamers from the doers. But here's the best part. You don't have to be born with it. Like any skill, you can build your risk tolerance over time. The more risks you take, the more comfortable you'll get with them. So go ahead, take that leap. Sure, you might stumble, but you might also build something incredible. And remember, the bigger the risk, the bigger the potential reward. On to the next module, where we'll dive into some of the myths about entrepreneurs. And trust me, there are plenty of those floating around. Hey there, hope you're enjoying this course. If you are, we have a small favor to ask. Please share it with a friend, family member, or even a random person on the internet, like on a site such as Reddit. These courses are free, so if you've found them helpful, we would be forever grateful if you help spread the word so that people who are on a tight budget can learn about this course on entrepreneurship or our others such as Secrets to a Happy Marriage or Parenting 101. Now back to the course.